Celine Dion's life story begins in the most modest of settings, in a small town near Montreal called Charlemagne. Born on March 30th, 1968, she was the youngest of 14 children. Her family lived in a tiny, crowded home where space was always short. With 16 people under one roof, there was never a quiet moment. Life was not easy, but her parents filled the house with love and music. Her father worked long hours as a butcher, while her mother managed the household and sewed clothes from scraps. They struggled financially, but they always managed to hold the family together. Celine didn't even have a crib when she was born. Instead, her parents placed her in a dresser drawer lined with blankets. Nights were just as difficult, with several sisters crammed into one bed, sleeping shoulder to shoulder like sardines. Despite all these hardships, her parents gave her a gift that would define her future: music. Her father sang, her mother played the violin, and her very name came from a beloved French ballad. Yet outside the home, life was harsh. At school, Celine was mocked for her looks. Her skinny frame and large teeth made her a target for cruel nicknames. Even tabloids joined in when she began singing, calling her Celine Dion. These early experiences left scars, but she never let them destroy her spirit. Instead, music became her refuge. At just 5 years old, she was singing in her parents' piano bar. By 12, she had written her first song and recorded a demo. Her family believed in her so strongly that her mother mortgaged their home to send her tape to manager René Angelo. When he heard her sing, he said it was the best voice he had ever encountered. That moment changed everything. René Angelo took a huge gamble on Celine Dion. After hearing her demo, he mortgaged his own house for more than $100,000 to launch her career. At just 12 years old, with no real stage experience, Celine was suddenly on the path to stardom. By 1983, she was already gaining fame in Quebec. In 1988, she reached millions when she won the Eurovision Song Contest, representing Switzerland with a performance that captivated Europe. During her teenage years, she recorded 9 French-language albums and became the first Canadian artist to receive a gold record in France. But behind the rising fame, she carried a secret. At 18, she had fallen deeply in love with René, her manager, who was 26 years older. Her mother, who had always supported her dreams, was horrified when she discovered the relationship. But Celine stood firm, insisting she was free to love whomever she chose. Their romance remained private for years, hidden from the public eye. At 19, their secret relationship quietly began. Meanwhile, Celine was working to reinvent herself. She disappeared from the spotlight for 18 months, capped her teeth, learned fluent English, and returned with a polished new image. The turning point came on April 30th, 1988, when she won Eurovision in front of over 600 million viewers. She was just 20, but that performance made her a continental star. 2 years later, her first English-language album, Unison, made her a success in the United States. With hits like Where Does My Heart Beat Now?, she broke into the global music scene. By the early 1990s, critics were praising her as a once-in-a-generation voice. In 1992, she stunned Hollywood by performing Beauty and the Beast at the Academy Awards. Her career was no longer just promising, it was unstoppable. On December 17, 1994, Celine Dion and René Angelo surprised the world by revealing their romance in the most dramatic way possible, through a televised wedding. Millions watched as she walked down the aisle in Montreal's Notre Dame Basilica, wearing a gown with a 20-foot train and a tiara weighing 7 pounds. What had once been a secret love was now official, and the world celebrated with them. But their marriage soon faced struggles behind the glamour. Celine desperately wanted children, yet she spent nearly a decade undergoing fertility treatments. Miscarriages and failed IVF attempts tested her strength. At the same time, René was diagnosed with throat cancer in 1999. Before treatment, his sperm was frozen, but his low count made conceiving difficult. Celine paused her career several times to focus on family and her husband's health. Finally, in 2001, their son René Charles was born after years of struggle. It felt like a miracle. Nearly 9 years later, frozen embryos helped her bring twin boys, Nelson and Eddie, into the world. For Celine, science and perseverance gave her the family she longed for. Meanwhile, her career soared higher than ever. Her 1996 album Falling Into You sold 32 million copies worldwide, winning the Grammy for Album of the Year. Then came the song that defined her forever, My Heart Will Go On. Released in 1997 for the film Titanic, it sold 18 million copies, topped charts in over 20 countries, and became one of the most iconic songs of all time. In 2003, she changed Las Vegas forever. Caesar's Palace built the $95 million Coliseum just for her. Over 5 years, she sold more than 3 million tickets, proving that Las Vegas residencies were not just for fading stars, but for global icons. By the late 2000s, Celine Dion was at the peak of her empire. Her Las Vegas residency had redefined the music industry, and she had become one of the highest-grossing performers in history. Yet, behind the spotlight, her personal life grew heavier with challenges. In 2013, Renee's throat cancer returned, this time far more aggressive. Celine became not only a global superstar, but also her husband's full-time caregiver. As Renee's condition worsened, she took another career break. By 2014, she canceled shows to stay by his side. The man who had managed every detail of her career was fading, and she was preparing to face the world alone. On January 14, 2016, Renee Angelou passed away at the age of 73. Just 2 days later, her brother Daniel also died of cancer. Within 48 hours, Celine lost two of the most important men in her life. Despite this unimaginable grief, she returned to the stage only weeks later. For her, performing was both a duty and a way of healing. Audiences who saw her sing after Renee's passing described it as raw, vulnerable, and filled with emotion. Her career did not slow down. In 2019, she released the album Courage, her first without Renee's guidance. It topped the Billboard 200 chart, proving she could still dominate the music scene on her own terms. At the same time, her personal style and bold fashion choices gained attention, as she reinvented her public image as a fearless, independent woman. But life tested her once more. In 2022, Celine revealed she had been diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, a rare neurological disorder that affects muscle control. She postponed and later canceled her tours, leaving fans worried about whether she would ever perform again. Celine Dion's journey is not just the story of a singer. It is the story of resilience, love, and transformation. From a shy girl in Quebec to one of the most powerful voices on earth, her life has been filled with both record-breaking triumphs and devastating losses. Through every stage, she has shown an extraordinary ability to adapt and rise again. Her legacy rests not only on her voice, which is recognized as one of the greatest in history, but also on her impact on popular culture. Songs like My Heart Will Go On remain timeless, continuing to resonate with new generations. Her Las Vegas residency reshaped the music industry, setting a model that other stars later followed. And her story of love with Renee Angelou remains one of the most iconic partnerships in the entertainment world. Even in the face of illness, she continues to inspire millions. Her openness about her health struggles has created awareness about rare diseases, while her determination to keep connecting with fans demonstrates her strength. Despite setbacks, she remains a symbol of courage. Celine's life teaches that true greatness is not measured only in fame or wealth, but in perseverance. She has endured public scrutiny, family tragedies, and personal battles while still sharing her gift with the world. Her fans see her not just as a superstar, but as a woman who has lived with grace under pressure. Today, whether she stands on stage again or not, her influence is undeniable. Celine Dion's name is written in the history of music alongside the greatest legends. And as long as her songs continue to be played, her voice and spirit will never be forgotten. Her story is one of heart, courage, and the unbreakable power of love.